That's what it was. That's what
Are
was
people
instilled.
born with that, or do they develop it, or is it given
That's
to
why
them?
ke re tshwantseng go sta rona di val tsone sa lona jaanong. Because you learn something from when you're young. So ska ke tjho ke re, when they had me working all the time, ne ke kenyega. Kante little did I know they're instilling a work ethic. So like I feel useless if I'm not doing anything. It's good to rest. Obviously I do rest. But ke try to spana. You know, ke spana in such a way that sometimes I don't even look at the high score. I play the match. I don't care whether we are leading or we're being led. I play the match the best way I can. So I put in my fullest potential in everything I'm doing. So even if I'm pushing a project that I can see that we've tried and it's failing, I drop it and I accept that it's not working and then I move on to the next.
That ability to drop something that's not working, and you do it publicly, or just people expose your stuff a lot. So you face a lot of public scrutiny as well. You're human, just like all of us, right? How do you handle that humiliation and still start something else and keep moving?
It's not humiliation. Remember some people used to say, "Entwana elera ko tlase ya ipona." Tsela tse just because they are nice, di na no tla tsela bana yi. You know what I mean? Like people are always talking about you. So it's just that now as you grow, the people are talking about you are now becoming many and many and many and many. And you end up being known by the whole country. Then you've got millions of people who talk about you. So even before, since I was in Tana, from Koskela, high school. So I'm used to people criticizing my work. So I never really care about what people have to say. But right now, in the social media age, engagement is currency. You want people to talk. So even when they're criticizing you, it's up to you. How do you turn that around? How do you make it work for you? That's engagement. So when I do a good podcast episode and a lot of people agree with the guest, it doesn't have a lot of engagement. It probably has like 300 comments or 200 comments. But if I've got somebody who's maybe controversial, who divides the audience, there's a lot of engagement, then you've got over 1,000 comments. It's good for social media. So I see a lot of people understand how the internet works now. People like Abo Kespa, people like Abo Nota, people like, I can make a lot of examples. They've mastered the internet world. They understand what comes with engagement. So other people thrive off of what other people say about them, and then they're able to turn the narrative around to favor them. So I'm not saying that I go out there to try and clout chase or to try and get negative publicity, but I'm used to being criticized.
But you're still human, right? And the criticism, in as much as it's grown you over the years, there are things that people say that might hurt. And how I want to understand how you handle it. Being able to handle a public failure. You said you fail forward, but being able to handle it and saying, okay, it's fine, massive radio didn't work, I'll close it down, move on to the next day. A lot of people are buried by that. A lot of people that are entrepreneurs would still be entrepreneurs if they had the skill that you have of letting things go and moving on. Some people are buried by just a relationship with a woman, it didn't work. They don't make it from that. You understand what I mean? It's true. I guess some of you are here. Say amen.
Billionaire Tate Robert Kumete once said to me, I must not fall in love with a business. He said, I must always know that I built something that will attract other people to be interested in it. And at some point, if I want to sell minority of it, or even sell all of it and move on to the next, I must never be afraid to do that. I must never be attached to ideas or businesses. I never understood at the time when he said that to me. That's over 10 years ago. But you mustn't be attached to the things of the world. You mustn't also be too attached to what you're building. Yes, you love it. At some point, you have to let it go. You see, we worked very hard in building this business for the past 11 years. It has gotten to some point 10 years later. Now it's the 11th, going for the 12th year, where you are reinvesting and bootstrapping this thing so much so that now you're able to afford to get the right skill set to come on board. Your ex-Coca-Cola guys, your ex-Red Bull guys, your ex-Monster guys, people with like tons and tons of experience, and people who've built and sold businesses, people who've built and listed businesses before. Get like the top skill set, and those people are costly. They cost quite a lot. And if you're able to convince them to come on board to help you grow this idea and you pay them well, then it means you built this thing where you are now corporatizing it because you've got professionals that are running it. But even when that happens, also you still feel a sense of it's like your baby. It's not being handled by other people. Sometimes you feel like you could be doing things differently, but they don't do things the way you know what I mean? Like, but then you start also understanding these people, you brought them on board for a reason. And you all have got a similar goal, and they also want to see this thing succeed. And they've got tons of experience better than you do. You've never ran and listed a business before. You've never built and sold a company for hundreds of millions before. You've never worked for a biggest, beverage global international company before. They have. So you have to just trust the people that you've brought on board and let it go. So don't be too attached to it. And which is what I've been going through over the past few years since our team has been growing. But I've also been able to train myself to not trip and fall and cry and crawl into some corner and cry victim. I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. So even when I fall, get the dust, I'm a bracket, and when you do fail, people will talk, people will criticize you. Words are words, bro. Words, yes, are power. Sticks and stones may break bones, but words may cause permanent damage because words are power. What you speak onto the universe is what happens to you. So when people speak their words, you need to remember that I'm comfortable in my own skin and I know who I am. So whatever other people say to define me or whatever opinions they have, like, they don't change who I am. Not that I don't take good advice, not that I'm stubborn, but I'm stubborn towards my dream and what I believe in. So it's not easy for me to easily give up. And I've also learned the skill to not be attached, not only businesses or ideas, man, even material things as I've grown older. I used to be very materialistic. I used to love watches, chains, well, not necessarily chains, but I used to love jewelry, the finer things in life, sports cars, just, the nicest life in the world. And ever since I've gotten older, I think you sort of slowly detached from the things of the world because you've got a different understanding. As how you view the world is different from how I viewed the world 10 years ago. As you get older, it's easier to detach and move on. So nerato kwerana re sala dintwana re re amarona sabta mfana na uthanda ufaka amazipho okenya manala so arkhane mrate ngwana mara ska tlo kenya manala boss o tlo roba pelo. And that was the language we used to speak re sala dintwana. So as Grootman, it's like you don't easily just kenya manala anymore. These are the things of the world, and even if you lose them, they don't define who you are. You can always work and get them back again.
Sure. What's the biggest money mistake you've ever made, and what did it teach you?
Not understanding the difference between liabilities and assets, and not understanding the concept of investing. I fell into the trap of instant gratification, just like a whole lot of other youths out there. We all fall through that, especially us black people, because I write la chelet, And I feel obviously you become new money, you get too excited, and you could be doing some incredible things when you've got good cash flow to build your portfolio of assets. So now when I was young, I made a lot of money when I was young. I got rich early. Well, now
How old were you?
now
21?
now at my